Hi, my name is Jill, and I have worked for Qkids for 1 year next month. And my teaching experience is 6 years as a teacher assistant in a public school system in special ed classrooms, and about 3 years as a substitute teacher. And I am earning my master's right now in special ed. And I start student teaching in August. I love working for Qkids, and I just went to the Qkids Camp High Five in January, and I had a blast.
All right. Hey, I'm Susan, and I've been with Qkids about the same amount of time as Jill. I started last July, so almost a year, almost on my anniversary. And I've been in education for over 20 years, everything from brick and mortar, classroom teacher, administration, online instruction. Yeah, I'm old.
No, you're not. We actually both won the Qkids camp, and we found out that we lived 20 minutes away from each other. So when we went to the Qkids camp, we got to fly together.
Yes.
Oh, meet first and then fly together. So
Yes.
that was pretty awesome.
It was great. We found out that we both won, and we were looking through the results, and we were trying to contact the other winners, and we were talking on the phone. And she's like, I'm from North Carolina. And I was like, oh, so am I. And we just kept narrowing it down, and we're 20 minutes away, literally.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
We're neighbors. So for our chat today, we will be looking at some of the questions from the Qkids new feature, We Were Wondering Wednesdays.
Woo! And just so you know, we were given these questions ahead of time. So this interview is planned, but mostly spontaneous.
Definitely mostly spontaneous. So hopefully maybe you can find what we talk about worthwhile. We're going to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And leave some comments, stories, or questions, and maybe consider reaching out to teachertips@qkids.net and contribute or share your own chat ideas or videos.
Okay, so the first question that we're going to ask each other, and I'm going to ask Susan first, is how do you reflect on your lessons, or do you?
Yes, I do. I do reflect on my lessons. Sometimes that's not an easy thing to do. It's kind of uncomfortable. But I do try to think about what worked or what didn't work, and what I could do to make it better. So if I finish and it seemed like it was a really great lesson, I think about, okay, what did I do differently? Because that's definitely something I'm going to try again in the future. And if it's not so good, I think about what was different. For example, maybe I was looking as tired as I was feeling on the inside. Those early mornings can be brutal. But overall, I try to take what I learn, looking at myself, what did I do and what could I do better, and try to do better next time. So,
Nice.
How about you? Do you reflect on your lessons?
Most days I do, and more so on the bad days. But I realized that one time during a lesson I was speaking too much and that the students weren't. So after I did that lesson, I realized that I need to speak a little bit less, and I need to use the on-screen tool more to put the students on the screen so they can communicate with one another. And then I could assess them and then correct them if needed. But I realized that I was talking too much in some of my lessons, so I reflected on that and changed it for the next few times. And it seemed to work a little better.
All right. Reflection. So question 2, part 1. How do you balance fun and skill? And also, what do you do to be more interactive and to show your teaching know-how?
Okay, so to be more fun in the class, sometimes I use real things around my house that I find on a whim during a lesson. So during a lesson, my dog sits on my lap, and there's a few Qkids lessons that have dogs in them. So I have this one lesson, bathing and grooming.
Is that the one with the poop?
Yes. On the intro screen, the dog takes a poop, and you ask, what should Jack do? And Jack should clean the poop up, and then he bathes his dog and grooms the dog. So for fun, sometimes I'll point the camera down when I have that lesson, and I'll have the dog brush, and I'll be like, look, I'm grooming my dog. And they think it's hilarious. They love it, and they say hi to my dog, and they think it's a lot of fun. So to me, that's fun when you can pull things from around your house and use them in your lesson. Like if you have a lesson with your phone in it, you can be like, look, this is my phone. And they like that. They think it's fun to see that you have stuff that they see in their lesson. So to show my teaching skills, a lot of the times I notice that my students have trouble with certain letter sounds. So I often grab my face and I'll exaggerate the sounds, like R, like pirate. And then I'll do like the arm thing like that, like say R for But I had a lesson the other day. The student was having trouble saying Indonesia. So I got like really close to the camera and I was like, Indonesia. And we said it a few times and he finally got it after I showed him like how to move your mouth and how to say each letter sound.
That's great. Actually, I use the same feature a lot with the little ones. You work a lot with the older kids, right? Yeah. So I have level 1, 2, and 3 usually end the phonics. And the bug lessons, the insects. Oh. And sometimes the students have trouble saying antenna. Antenna. So antenna.
Fun. Hey.
Antenna. 1 antenna, 2 antenna.
Diamond.
So I try to show them it's like antenna, like the number 10, and they seem to really get that. Sometimes I even write the number 10.
Yeah.
And that helps. Or with N versus M, really showing my mouth like N, like where my tongue is, and
yeah,
M.
That helps.
Yeah, so R, good.
R. Okay, so what do you do to balance fun and skill in your lessons?
Oh, well, sometimes I get a little silly. Like I said, I have the little kids, so I get very silly. For example, I'm having a lot of fun with the phonics lessons now because when we do the big T and the small T, I say, big T, and I hold up a big T, and then I say, small T. So I make voices, and of course all of the capital or big T's and S's and A's and all of those letters have really deep voices. I don't know why. And the small letters, the lowercase letters, have very high, squeaky voices. Yes, they are very, very silly letters. But it really gets the kids to participate, and I encourage them to mirror my silly voice, especially when they're not all participating, because that will get them, they don't want to miss the fun part.
Yeah. Awesome. And what are some ways that you're more interactive or show good teaching skills in your lessons?
Well, let's see. I do try to get to know a little bit about each student, little things, of course their name and their age, but I try to notice like if they're playing with a little Hello Kitty thing, or if I see a cat in the background, or they have a little sister or something. I try to remember that so that I can work that in later to ask them a question like, does your little sister do this, or do you like cats? Oh, I think Ava likes cats. So I try to be more interactive with and more personal with each student.
Yeah, I like when the students like draw pictures for me and stuff, or like write stuff in Chinese, and I try to put them on the screen and I try to make them like talk about it, like what did you draw, and then the other students can see. Yes. And that just warms my heart. I had a student draw a picture of me and my background the other day.
Oh, I saw that.
It was so sweet, but I wanted him to like interact with me about what he did and show the other students. So we had a lot of good conversation, but like we worked it into our lesson. So that was pretty good.
That's good. Yes. It's nice when they draw or they run around and get things from their environment to show you, and I did this, or the shapes one, I love to have them go find a circle, and they come.
Oh, they get excited with that. Yes. I had one with a Polaroid camera, like huge camera, or like a Canon camera, And this boy just pulled out this huge Canon camera, and he was like, "Teacher, look at me!" And I was like, "I'm gonna take a picture of you taking a picture for this taking a picture of lesson." It just made my day. It was so funny, but like we were interacting with each other, like what the lesson was about.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So there are lots of ways, I guess, to make sure that you're paying attention to the content and, you know, the skill and what we're supposed to be doing, but also make it fun.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there are more things that you all have that you can share.
I'm sure.
I hope you comment.
Yeah, comment, send an email.
Yeah.
Let us know.
teachertips@qkids.net.
Yeah.
Well, Jill, I guess that's it.
That's it. That's a wrap. Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Let's have bloopers at the end.
Okay. All right. Whenever you're ready.
Is it going?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. More interactive. I have to start over. Cut. Okay. You can sit down.
Cut. No. And cut. Okay. Okay, so that's it for the second question. Let's go to the third.
There is no third.
Okay, so now we're ending.
Actually. Still recording.
What? That's weird.
We
Did
better
it
make
just
sure the first
start?
thing did record.
Awesome. Good job. Oh.
It's recording. Well, I hope to see you in another Wednesday.
Woo.